Welcome to Filmwar. Let's cut the shit. It's a sad day as we lost Val Kilmer this week at the age of 65. I would say he's one of the best actors of his generation. Certainly the most fearless. He was a complicated artist, but always an artist striving for something better, especially within himself. His absence will leave a hole in the fabric of cinema. Throughout the episode tonight, we will be discussing many of his films and celebrating his career. Tonight we have Jordan. Tonight we have Chris. Welcome, gentlemen. Both men will be competing for a copy of Tombstone on VHS. Surely a classic of some magnitude, but I just found out before the show that one of our contestants has never seen the film.
Really?
Okay, so we know it's not Chris. Jordan, you've never seen Tombstone. That seems like a that's cinematically focused as I know that you are. That seems like a blind spot.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, unfortunately, there are like thousands of movies.
And I thought you'd seen them all, man.
I have many blind spots, many blind spots, and westerns constitute kind of a large one to a large degree. There are some westerns that I really love, but it's not a genre that I have a very broad familiarity with, I would say.
You're missing I would say the best performance of the Man of the Night.
Yeah, no kidding.
I urge you, if you do win it tonight.
I would love to see it. I know it's got quite a cast, and I think I may have even started at one time. It's kind of one of those, just it's been on my list forever and just never got around to it.
I must say,
list again is 1,000 movies long.
I'm tickled, Jordan, that there's a mainstream movie that I've seen and you haven't. When I live under a rock.
That does, seem a little strange wilderness for you two.
a good western and a good movie, and there was, as Jordan was saying, there was a lot of known talent in that, because you had Bill Pullman and Sam, what's his name, and
Bill Paxton. Bill Pullman's done it.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, Bill Paxton. The other Bill.
Paxton Pullman thing.
Yeah. Sorry, and I'm blanking on his name, but who was Backdraft and things like that. Blanking on his name right now, but
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, and there was some other, there was a lot of good
Shadow
talent
directed
in that movie.
From what I hear, Kurt Russell did.
So that's probably top of my list. That one.
Sure, Jordan. What about you?
I do have a fondness for Batman Forever, in spite of what I was saying before about it. I did enjoy Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I like Top Gun quite a bit. I only saw it kind of recently in the lead up to the sequel, but I thought honestly, I was blown away. I think Top Gun is a really great movie, and the sequel was also very good. It was really nice to see him get to reprise his part, the way that they worked that in.
Thank God that somehow had happened, because it was a great cinematic send-off for him. It's strange to think that happened years ago at this point, and he had actually he had survived the cancer. It seems like it had just kind of ravaged his body. He passed by pneumonia, from what I read.
Yeah, it was pneumonia.
Terrible things.
I liked The Doors.
For sure.
And
that was good.
I thought that he was the best part of the cut I saw, the theatrical cut of the Oliver Stone Alexander movie. I think there's like 6 cuts of that or something. He keeps redoing it every few years or something like that. But he played Philip of Macedonia. I remember I thought he was like the best part of the movie. Not a huge part, but
I guess I understand that in the Doors movie, he got praise from the surviving band members about how he did that performance.
His voice, between him and Jim Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's about as high praise as you can get for a acting performance, I would say.
Right.
This is the Val Kilmer pop quiz. I will give you a fact about Val, and you will decide if that fact is true or false. Get it right, get a point. Our first question: Val Kilmer made his feature film debut in Top Secret in 1984. Do you think this is true or false, Jordan?
I think it's false.
Okay,
I'm not 100% sure about that, but I feel like he was in something pretty young. I could be wrong.
Okay, Jordan's saying it's false. Chris, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with true. Let's just play both sides and see who comes out.
Yeah, I feel like the two contestants we're gonna see a lot of that tonight. It's gonna work out for one of you. This is true. His first film was Top Secret. That was his feature film debut, 1984. The start of an illustrious career.
And I didn't realize the order those came out in. I actually thought Willow was like his first one, but I didn't realize Top Secret was a couple years before that.
Our next question in the Val Kilmer pop quiz: Val learned 50 of the Doors songs in order to portray Jim Morrison. Do we think this is true or false, Chris? 50 songs is a lot of songs.
That's a lot of
encompasses
songs.
a lot of the Doors'
They covered
discography.
a lot in that movie, but I think it's false.
Chris is saying false. Jordan, what do you think?
I think that 50 songs is like, that's got to be pretty close to like all of the. There can't be like more than 70 Doors songs, right? I mean,
Yeah, roughly.
yeah. I think it's. I don't think it's unrealistic for him to have learned 50 Doors songs. Actually, it doesn't seem super necessary to have done. But I'm gonna. Yeah, true. Why not? I'm gonna go true.
All right, Jordan's saying true. Chris is saying false, and the true answer is true. He really did learn 50 songs.
It's not like he, not to be. It's not like he learned 50 keyboard parts, right?
For
It's
sure.
not like
It's
Kyle
just
MacLachlan.
lyrics.
Kyle
Yes,
MacLachlan
yeah.
didn't learn 50 Doors songs.
For sure. Speaking of Kyle MacLachlan, our next question. Val was offered and declined both of Kyle MacLachlan's roles in David Lynch's Dune and Blue Velvet. Do we think this is true or false, Jordan?
Boy, I don't know. I'd be willing to believe it about Blue Velvet, but I kind of don't want to believe it about Dune. Or no, it's the other way around. Sorry, the other way around.
Because
Right,
you'd
Dune
rather
is
have
first.
Val Kilmer in Dune?
No, you know what? I just, to me, what I meant to say, I had the movies backwards, was that I would rather have it be whatever movie was first. Because once Lynch and MacLachlan were together, I want it to have been, like, I don't want it. I wouldn't want him to have cast MacLachlan in Dune and then went to Kilmer for Blue Velvet. You know what I mean? And,
Right, for sure.
Which is, I mean, that's fine. That would be fine. But just there's like a thing with them. I'm gonna go false.
Jordan is saying false. This is not true. Chris, what do you think?
I think it's also false.
Okay, both of our contestants are saying false, and it is true.
Oh,
he was offered both roles and turned them down, which means that David Lynch sought out Val Kilmer for Dune. He said no. He went and made Dune with Kyle MacLachlan, and then when he made Blue Velvet, he went back to Val Kilmer first before Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah,
and offered it to him, and he still said no.
Kind of glad he didn't do Dune. I couldn't imagine anybody else.
Yeah, same with Blue Velvet. I feel like Val Kilmer couldn't have done the
to me
of Kyle MacLachlan in Blue Velvet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, MacLachlan. I mean, yeah, I can't imagine anybody else in Blue Velvet. In Dune, it's I think Val Kilmer could be fine as Paul. I mean, it's not like Dune. Yeah, I like Dune, but it's a mixed bag of a movie
for sure.
Then Timothy Chalamet is a better Paul, frankly.
I haven't seen any ones. I need to
speak to that. There is a universe where Val Kilmer accepted both these roles and went on to star in Twin Peaks. Somewhere out there in the multiverse, there's a Val Kilmer Twin Peaks. Just think about that.
Now, I could see him maybe doing Twin Peaks because there's seen enough of his stuff that he could pull off that gist. Not that I've seen much Twin Peaks, but from what I understand, the delivery on that was... I can see him doing that. I think
he has the right, at least the comedic timing to fit into that show.
Yeah.
All right, our last question. Val Kilmer was never nominated for an Academy Award. True or false, Chris?
I think it's true.
Chris is saying true. Jordan, what do you say?
Yeah, I think that could be true.
All right, so both our contestants are saying true that Val Kilmer was never nominated for an Academy Award throughout his entire career. Unfortunately, that is true. Damn them. I see at least 3 or 4 roles over his filmography that should have deserved something. Mostly best supporting. I read one of the quotes that I read from him today said that he was a character actor that looked like a leading man. And I feel like that is the best, how self-aware of him to be able to recognize that, just because of his looks, people kept putting him in the bigger roles, but he really thrived in the smaller roles. All right, that's the end of the Val Kilmer pop quiz. At the end of it, we've got a dead heat tie. Jordan and Chris both 2 points.
This game is called Genre Feud.
This is Genre Feud. I will name a genre and 3 films that fall under that genre. You will each guess which film had the highest average rating according to the users on letterboxd.com. Let's jump right into it. These are all Val Kilmer films, of course. First genre are his hits. 3 films that were successes. Top Gun from 1986, Batman Forever from 1995, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang from 2005. One of these films has a higher average rating on letterboxd.com than the rest. Which one is it, Chris?
I'm not seeing Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
You should. It's a good one. Do you like
Yeah, it's good.
detective stories?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd like that. It's like a modern noir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I should check that out. Along with 1,000 other movies I haven't seen, right? I'm going to go with Top Gun, though, I think. Because that was sort of a kind of define. I don't know if it defined a genre, but it definitely is, I don't know, a cornerstone of movie history.
Chris is saying Top Gun had the highest average rating according to users on letterboxd.com. Jordan, what do you think?
I think this is a tricky one. I think for me personally, I would rank Top Gun the highest. Top Gun is fucking great. Really, like, it's so like 80s the movie. It's
Right.
the music, the love scene with blue light, like the fucking it's everything about it is just like every
And the
shot of
motorcycle.
a man. The man has been like sprayed down with water before, like all these extreme
What's not to
close-ups of
love?
men just dripping. It's
You're right.
hilarious.
Oh my gosh, you're right. It is.
You know,
it is 80s of the movie. That's awesome.
I feel like I have to mention that Val Kilmer was contractually obligated to make that film, and he really hated doing it the first time around. He really did not want to be in it. But if you look at his performance, he still showed up every day and put in the work, no matter what.
Yeah, he's
And
great
that's
in
the
it.
true
Well,
craftsman.
maybe it added to him being the angry antagonist. He hated being
for
there
sure.
already.
He kept an adversarial spirit against Tom Cruise and the rest of the cast. He wouldn't eat lunch with him. He'd keep separate from him during filming, from what I read. So
I mean, it pays off because it's a great movie. But all of that said, I have a sort of inkling that like Letterboxd, that like you could end up with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang actually rating higher. It's some of the things that I like about Top Gun are arguably like maybe kind of like stupid and jingoistic, or like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is definitely like the more writerly kind of choice, maybe more like snobbish y, like I'm a movie
that's the
person.
Letterboxd crowd, right? Is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm. Well, I mean, I don't know that much about it really. I'm not on Letterboxd that much, but that's what
This is where you just pull this out of thin air. Then you don't know.
that's what I hear.
I will say it's a
That's what-
much it's a hipper audience on
Now watch it be
letterboxd.com
Batman.
these days. So
Watch
you're
it be
saying Kiss
Batman,
Kiss
Jordan.
Bang Bang. Chris is saying Top Gun, I believe.
Yes,
If
Yeah.
we can get a definitive answer.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
for going on a length.
No.
That's your final
what the show is
answer?
for. It's a healing process tonight.
Yeah.
The answer is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Ah,
3.8
close.
stars according to used on letterboxd.com.
close.
Top Gun not far behind, 3.4. Still below that 3.5 marker we usually use on this show. And blistering 2.5 for Batman Forever, which is too low. There's too many good performances in that movie for it to be as low as it is. So Jordan gets a point there. We've seen Val Kilmer's hits, but he did have some misses. That's the next genre. Those 3 films are The Island of Dr. Moreau from 1996,
Oh my
The
gosh, I forgot
Saint
about that
from
one.
1997, and The Snowman from 2017. I will say I only consider one of these films to be a bad one. The other 2 are at least entertaining. Chris, which one do you think has the highest average rating according to users on letterboxd.com?
Highest or lowest?
Highest.
Highest average rating. I've not seen The Snowman. I'm gonna go with The Saint. It had that kind of, action. It's sort of, Mission Impossible without Mission Impossible.
It's very similar in certain ways. Chris is saying The Saint. Jordan, what do you say?
I'm kind of inclined to agree. I know that it's the only one I've seen. I know Island of Dr. Moreau is kind of notorious. I'm curious about it. I would like to see it.
It was a little nuts.
Yeah.
I've seen that one actually. It was a little.
Wasn't Snowman supposed to be really bad too? I feel like
Yes, that's why the genre is called Misses.
yeah, but
None of these are good films.
But I'm not
I mean,
actually sure if I'm thinking of the movie, or is there like a Michael Fassbender movie called like The
That's
Iceman?
what this is. That is this film.
Okay.
This stars Michael Fassbender as a detective trying to hunt down a
Okay.
serial killer.
Okay.
It's made by
So
the
I heard.
director of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. You think it'd be really good. It's based on a book that people love, but somehow all the things put together just do not work together.
Yeah, I remember the reviews being like that. I remember that's the only thing I knew about it was that it was getting just these like savage reviews.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go with The Saint also, which I think God, probably is considered kind of mediocre, but I mean, I enjoyed it enough as a 12-year-old or whatever the fuck.
Both of our contestants are saying The Saint has the highest average rating between these three films. And if you are going to watch Island of Dr. Moreau, make sure that you watch the companion making of documentary, Lost Souls. It is much better than the original film. It really tells a story of how that terrible film got made. The true answer is The Saint, so both of you guys get points.
Wow.
2.8 stars, according to users on Letterboxd.com. Island of Dr. Moreau, 2.3. And Snowman, 1.9, which is higher than it deserves. Should be a bottom 0.
Wasn't Island of Dr. Moreau, wasn't that Marlon Brando's last role?
It's if not his last role. No. Because he was in The Score after that. I know that with De Niro and Norton. I know. I think we've talked about this on the show before, but Brando had to wear an earpiece during filming of this movie, so someone could give him lines, like the lines that he needed to say on camera. And it would pick up interference from the local police radio. So he would start spitting out lines from the police bolos that were coming out over the radio.
Didn't realize using that because I know he famously or notoriously didn't like to memorize scripts and would use prompters as much as possible.
Yeah, there's that picture from The Godfather with Robert Duvall. He's got the cue cards.
He's got his lines
in front of him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. He tried to talk them into making Jor-El some kind of puppet so that he could just do the lines without having to actually be on camera and on set.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to respect a guy that just tries to get out of work that much. I do the same thing at my job,
He's like the highest paid actor in the movie and top billed for 5 minutes of screen time. Yep. And he's like, how can I make this less work?
We have one more genre tonight, and that is real people. These are films that feature Val Kilmer playing a person that lived and breathed in history. Those three films are Tombstone from 1993, Alexander from 2004, and Wonderland from 2003. Of course, plays Doc Holliday, and Tombstone plays, what's his name, Jordan? And Alexander?
Philip of Macedonia.
He's the father of Alexander, correct?
Yeah.
And then in Wonderland, he plays famous porn star John Holmes. And that's a terrific movie. Honestly, Wonderland is one of my favorite Val Kilmer movies. Wow. It's not one that gets discussed a lot, but it's really good. He plays a tremendous performance in it. Which one of these three films has the highest average rating according to users on Letterboxd.com, Jordan?
What's the cast like there for Wonderland? I'm just trying to see a little more of that.
Val Kilmer, Kate Bosworth, Lisa Kudrow, Josh Lucas, Dylan McDermott.
I'm going to go with Tombstone.
Jordan's saying Tombstone. Chris, what do you think?
I'm your Huckleberry.
2 for Tombstone. It is the correct answer. 3.9 stars. This was an easy one, I'd say. Wonderland 3.1 and Alexander 2.7. I believe this Alexander, I don't think they have the director's cut listed on Letterboxd, so I think this score is more for that one. I know that the director's cut is much more lauded. I think people like that one a lot more.
And, I would be interested in, the theatrical cut was kind of a mess. But I would be interested in seeing a recut version of it because there were interesting things going on.
All right, that is the end of Genre Feud. Jordan has 5. Chris has 4. Only 1 point separates our two contestants.
This game is called Meetings and Failures in Meetings.
I will name a film and 3 titles that a film is released under in foreign markets. Only one is real. Figure out the correct one and get a point. Our first one is a film that Jordan has never seen, 1995, Heat. Here are 3 titles for you. Fire Against Fire from Argentina, 2 Men at Odds from China, and LA Shootout from Japan. One of these titles is correct, as it was the title that was released in that country. The others are made up by me. Which one is the correct one, Chris?
I haven't seen this movie either.
Oh, wow.
So there we go.
Another tremendous one. You should. That's your list.
Oh, that's a tough... I'm torn between LA Shootout and Fire Against Fire. But LA Shootout's the first one that jumped out at me, so I'll go with that.
Chris is saying LA Shootout was the correct title for Heat in Japan. Jordan, what do you think?
I'm gonna, I like 2 Men at Odds, but as has happened before on here, as I was about to guess that, I became concerned that at odds might be a specifically English phrase that might not necessarily translate cleanly.
Now, I feel like I do. The way that I figure these out is I go to IMDb, which has all of these listed by the different language that they
Uh,
are released in, and then I put my cursor over it, and then I go translate, and whatever it comes back with is what I put on this screen. So
okay,
your little thing about English idioms isn't always necessarily true because it does have to be translated into English. So it does
sure.
try to make some sort of analog. But if there's a phrase that doesn't mean a direct analog in English, it does shift it that way.
Okay,
So
okay.
just to keep in mind for future
He's
episodes.
pulling back the curtain a little bit.
Well, it has become a pattern for me to guess the ones that contain English idioms. Yeah, because that is a thing that doesn't always translate like in a direct way from other languages or to other languages. But so I am going to guess Fire Against Fire because now I feel like I have to.
Jordan's saying Fire Against Fire, and Chris is saying LA Shootout, and the correct answer is Fire Against Fire from Argentina. It was the correct title. Jordan gets a point.
I should have gone. I almost went with that because I liked it. I liked the sound of it, but I should have.
Follow your heart, Chris.
Well, my heart said L.A. Shootout.
Okay, don't follow your heart. Okay, our next film is from 1985. It is Real Genius. Tremendous film. If you haven't seen it, you should. Here are 3 titles for you: Overachievers from Brazil, Science Shenanigans from Scotland, and What a Genius from Germany. One of these titles is correct. Which one is it, Jordan?
I like Science Shenanigans.
Jordan's going to say Science Shenanigans was the correct title in Scotland for Real Genius. Chris, what do you
I
think?
like the idea that they used that in Scotland they used the word shenanigans. I'm not going to try a Scottish accent, but
I think I like What a Genius because why would they change the title in a country that they already speak English in?
Okay, Chris is saying What a Genius.
Well,
Jordan,
and change the title, but then leave half of it the same. That's very funny too.
Chris is saying What a Genius from Germany is the correct title. Jordan is saying Science Shenanigans from Scotland is the correct title. And I'm really surprised you chose that one, Jordan. Like when I was writing that, I was like, nobody's gonna fucking choose this.
I just like the idea of
I played
Scottish
to your
people
silly
saying
nature.
shenanigans.
Chris gets the point. What a Genius was the correct title in Germany for Real
I was
Genius.
trying to think because that sounds like something to be translated the way German kind of moves things around.
Yeah.
And what a very quotable movie.
All right. Our next film for Meetings and Failures Meetings is from 2002, and it is The Salton Sea. I believe neither of you gentlemen have probably seen this. It's a good one.
I have not.
I have not either.
So you'll just have to go on intuition for the correct title. The 3 titles for you are The Shadow of a Man from Brazil, Addict's Alibi from France, and Dreams of Chaos from Norway. So really, shot in the dark, I would say. Which one do you think is the correct title, Chris?
Oh gosh, I like 2 of them. Just going off the cover art, I think 2 of them fit well. It's a tough call, but I like Shadow of a Man.
Chris is saying The Shadow of a Man from Brazil is the correct title for Salton Sea. Jordan, what do you think?
Oh, I think Dreams of Chaos.
Jordan is saying Dreams of Chaos is the correct title for the Salton Sea in Norway. Chris is saying The Shadow of a Man, and the correct title is The Shadow of a Man from Brazil. Chris gets another point.
Because I almost went in Dreams of Chaos because it fit the cover art so well. But
see, I thought Shadow of a Man was like almost like he's not a shadow, but he is sort of like translucent in a way there, right?
They didn't name it just because of the poster, though.
It's all I had to go off of.
Right.
I'm
I
looking
didn't
at,
want to
like,
pick the same thing he did.
There's like, he's looking down dejected. There's flames burning away things. For some reason, that struck me as like he's, not as fun. And you've got death on his back.
He's the double exposure of a man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Proud of that one. All right. Our last movie for Meetings and Failures is from 1993. It is True Romance, film written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Tony Scott. And the 3 titles for you are Boy Meets Girl, Boy Buys Gun from Thailand, Love at First Shot from Portugal, or Point Blank Love from Chile. Jordan, which one of these titles is correct?
This is another one that has been on my list to see forever, and I never actually have.
Val Kilmer plays Elvis, who is a manifestation of Christian Slayer's psyche.
Now, I did hear about that. Boy meets girl, boy buys gun.
Jordan is saying Boy Meets Girl, Boy Buys Gun is the correct title for True Romance in Thailand. And Chris, what do you think?
I like them all. And I do like Point Blank Love, but I actually also am going to go with Boy Meets Girl, Boy Buys Gun.
Chris is saying Boy Meets Girl, Boy Buys Gun, agreeing with Jordan is the correct title for True Romance in Thailand. And the answer is Point Blank Love is the correct title in Chile.
I was almost on that one, but
no points for that one. But Chris, you'll be excited to hear it is another dead tie going into our very last game. So this one might be fun.
Gotta get serious now.
They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and I hope that is true because otherwise this whole bit will seem in poor taste. I will name one of Val's roles, and you will each do an imitation of that role. Whoever does the best one would receive 1 point.
Boy.
Our first imitation is Batman. Jordan, you go first. I want you to set tempo on this.
I'm trying to think of something he actually says in this movie.
Right.
I'll get drive-through.
Okay. Jordan's imitation of Val Kilmer's Batman.
He says that to Alfred at the beginning, doesn't he? Alfred, he's leaving, and okay.
You're right. Yeah. Chris, it is your turn. Now you don't have to say a direct quote from the film or anything like that. I'm looking for spirit here more than anything.
Okay. Bruce Wayne.
I'm going to give that point to Chris.
Yeah, that was good.
Clever always wins the day on this show. All right, our next imitation is Dieter von Kunt, the villain from MacGruber. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, then you're just going to do something funny, I suppose. Make Val happy. Chris, you'll go first this time.
What was his character's name again?
Dieter von Kunt.
Okay, Dieter von Kunt. He's a German.
Yes.
Kill him!
Okay. We canceled that episode, Chris, remember? Jordan, it's time for your imitation.
Well, I'll be honest, German kind of impression was kind of all I had too.
Let's hear it.
What? I will get you, my girl. How about that?
Okay. I'll give you both points for that one. You both rode the kind of racist German line, but you didn't fully go over. I appreciate that. Yeah. Our next imitation is Jim Morrison. Now you gotta put a little Val Kilmer in there, I would imagine. So, Jordan, you'll go first.
I'm sorry. I'm just my head went right to this. Some Jim Morrison impressions that probably I don't remember if these are in the movie or not, but
I put it in Val's voice.
There is this thing on one of their live records where he's like in between songs, he's just kind of like talking and rambling and shit, and he says something like, Adolf Hitler was in my bed. I made love to her last night. Or something like,
Okay, that's it. That's your official submission for your Jim Morrison impression. All right, Chris. Yeah,
it makes up for the slightly racist German thing from before, right?
Oh no! I said you thread that needle correctly. Now you've gone
all I got-
overboard.
I
with
have
it.
German heritage. It's fine.
All I got
right,
are
Chris.
songs in my head. I got nothing but songs in my head because I think I saw
Sing
that
me a
movie
song
maybe
then,
once.
Chris.
Riders on the Storm.
I'll give that point to Chris just because I like
Do
that.
this house we're
No, I mean I don't
born.
deserve it. I thought of the weirdest Jim Morrison thing I could think of.
Good. Oh, is it? Are you trying to throw the show? Is that what this is? We talked about
I
this.
mean, I was yeah.
We talked about this in
Yeah,
a
that was
future
it.
episode that you may be trying to throw the show these days.
I like it to be competitive.
Yeah. Okay. Our next imitation is Elvis. This is there he is as Elvis in True Romance. Chris, you'll be going first.
Thank you very much.
All right. Pretty good, Elvis. Jordan, what do you got?
Oh,
The only Elvis impression that I have on deck is actually an impression of Jack White playing Elvis in Walk Hard,
Okay.
and it is also slightly racist.
I feel like I know exactly what you're about to say now, so just go ahead and do it.
No, he's like, watch out, man. That's karate, man. Only two kinds of people know it: Chinaman and the King, and one of them's me.
Jordan, if this was a Jack White imitation contest,
Wow.
I'd give you 5 full points for that because that was very good.
wasn't a bad
Unfortunately,
Elvis either.
this is a Val Kilmer show, so I'm going to give the point to Chris.
oh wow! I would have given it a joy. That was good.
There was no Val
it-
Kilmer in it. It was all Jack
It
White.
was explicitly from a different movie where a different guy plays Elvis. That Val
Oh, and
Kilmer
mine are
not in
loaded
at
with
all.
Val
So-
Kilmer. Let me tell you.
You more or less just like raised your middle finger up to the screen and said, "Fuck your rules, Shay. I'm going to do what I want." Which is exactly what Val Kilmer would do, so I'm giving you a point.
There you go. There you go.
Guys both get points for that. All right, we have one last invitation to go, and then it is the favorite of the night for one of you, Doc Holliday from Tombstone. I wrote these questions out, and I thought, like, oh yeah, man, we're gonna end it with Doc Holliday. Everybody see that movie. Everybody loves that movie. Here we are. All right, Chris, you got it first.
Oh, I've almost got the piece of another line I'd really like to use instead, but I don't have it all in my head. So
Don't blow it now.
so I'll just go with Ami Huckleberry.
Solid, very solid, Chris. All right, Jordan. Say something in Western, I suppose. Free associate a different impression.
There ain't enough room at this OK Corral for the two of us.
Points don't matter on the show. Chris wins. I'm gonna give you guys both a point for that. Just to be clear, you guys both get a point there, but Chris does win the show.
Yes. Yes.
11-9.
Thank you.
You're going
do
home
better
with
when there's less of us.
Tombstone. Ooh, that was a fun one. I hope Val enjoyed that from heaven. That's all for Filmwar. We have a new champion. All hail Chris. He's taking home a copy of Tombstone on VHS. And, I was really psyching up for this game to end in a tie
take
because
it
I've
in.
actually got 2 copies of Tombstone. I was going to give you each one of them. But
Nice.
you got to earn it. You got to
Sorry to disappoint.
Follow us on Bluesky at Filmwar, at TikTok and Instagram at the Filmwar Pod. View our full video episodes at youtube.com/@Filmwar or at thefilmwar.com. Rate us, share us, kiss us, thrill us. I hope you enjoyed the celebration of Val Kilmer's career. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode. Any last words, gentlemen?
Kent, stop playing with yourself.
I'm Batman.
Godspeed.
Filmwar, a 1,000-yard stare production.